You are listening. Happy, healthy, successful Kleesman. Last time we spoke about choices that you have made and what help you to become successful. If you think about your childhood, then the unhealthy environment could have easily break you. But it went the other way and you have become very successful. What do you think why it went that way?
It's a very good question. Actually, I've read or heard about the statistics that about like 1/5 of the people who have something bad happening to them will carry on the bad. So, but there is still like 8 of the 10 people then will find another way. And I think I'm just like somebody who is not willing to accept, this like badness or madness or sadness. And I always kind of want to find another way. It's in my character. Like I'm not easily to break. I'm not easy to be overcome by something or just defeated. And maybe it is also something that, has to do with your life plans or mindset. And one of the good things that happened to me that I already mentioned actually was the sickness of the parents, because from this 5-year-old time then I started to realize that people might die. It might happen to you anytime. I also saw it from beside that how unhappy my parents were with this thought, how like not prepared they were, how scared they were of dying. And I thought that I don't want to go this way. Like I want to live my life this way, that when I have to die, I can only think that, okay, the time ended, but I did everything I ever wanted. And this is something that's been my mojo, I think, for my life.
But do you think that such experiences have made you a stronger person, or you are just a survivor? Are you stronger, or is there something still broken inside you?
I'm actually very strong. And there's a Japanese term that's kintsugi. I don't know if I've ever heard it, but it's actually an art form that emerged like hundreds of years ago when they had porcelain that was very beautiful and painted and very expensive. And when it broke, like for example, it was a bowl and the bowl broke, and they didn't want to throw it away, but they mended it with glue that had a lot of gold in it. So that the mending and the gold glue became an art form in itself. And I think this is something that I am, that yes, I have been broken, yes, I have been mended, and I'm stronger because of these mendings actually are stronger than the porcelain that was there in the first place.
But what would you say to people who see that their partner has become a bad person?
That's also a good one, I think. I think everybody needs to look into the mirror, maybe daily, maybe once a week, or just do it once a month and not be scared of what you see. That if you are finding yourself in a position where you think that I don't like my life or I don't like this person and this is not what I expected, then you have to be honest to yourself. And honesty might mean that, it's the end. Because you can't change this other person. You can try.
But people often think that they can.
But
they just need some time.
Never happens.
And everything goes better.
Never happens. Also, this is something maybe, everybody should be a screenwriter, because as a screenwriter, you learn how to create, characters. And yes, they grow and they develop, but it always stays the same. And you can never... take this man who is maybe a loser and has a slight drinking problem and isn't earning much, and then you think that I'm gonna change it all and he's gonna be a great man and not drink anymore and earn a lot of more money, and yes, you will fail 100%. Sometimes people have this in themselves that they want to change, but I think most often people always want to change the other person and remain themselves, and it's the vice versa. Like you can change yourself. Make your decisions.
But if you find out that your friend or a child is in that kind of relationship, what would you do? Or can you do something?
There are like 2 questions. One is when it's my child. And this is something maybe maybe those people who have like a bad relationship now, but had a happy childhood, I think they will maybe never understand what it means if you don't have a happy childhood, you know, that I understand so perfectly. And my mom, I remember, like, she used to say that, why are you like so sad? And just go back to the place or time, like when you were happy, like I was when I was, you know, when I was a small girl and I had this farmhouse and horses and forest. And I said, Mom, I have never had this childhood. I don't have this place to go to. I can only be in my future. And she kind of, I felt that she didn't really empathize with me, because she didn't understand that there's nowhere to go if you only have experienced hell. And I wouldn't let that happen to my children. I mean, I'm already, my daughters are 16 and 11. I'm gonna
16
watch.
is
Yes,
difficult.
I'm gonna see all those boyfriends. I'm gonna interrogate them. I'm gonna horrible mother-in-law. But this is something that I will not let my child, you know, decide for herself, because this is also something that my mom let me experience. I have had several relationships, and the first one was the worst, because I only had, you know, an image of my father who was aggressive and alcoholic, horrible person, and like the boyfriend who was maybe only like slightly better, was already like better than father, even though he was like really a bad choice. And my mom never said anything. She was like, okay, like, be with him. I will never be okay if I see somebody marching through the door with like aggression problems or whatever kind of problems. I will find out if this person has it in them, that they can overcome those things. This is okay also, like, you can always start up low and end up high. But if you want to stay low, like, I wouldn't, I don't know, I couldn't let it happen. But with friends, it's a different thing, because they're all grown-ups, and everybody who is grown-up is responsible for themselves, in contrast to the children, where you are the responsible person. So the grown-ups, I think with like friends, women, we always talk about relationships, and there are always all kind of questions, and can be like so many ways that you're not satisfied with your current life, and it's very intriguing how you can change it. But I would say that if you have somebody who is really has a violence problem, teach them the minute, really, it will not improve. It will not improve. If somebody has a drinking or an addiction problem, or, you know, goes to the casino, these people need to find themselves. They very often also kind of, their coping skill is to find somebody else to take care of them. But unless you want to be this person who takes care of everybody as a woman, don't go there.
But do you really believe that you can do something to help your friend, for example?
Well, I have a friend, and she had a bad relationship, and I knew about it, and it was very, you know, interesting experience, because we were also children since the childhood, and the relationship that she was in, it started to go bad, I think, within like a year or two. They were together 8 years, and I was constantly, you know, puzzled that you have seen this. I mean, you have seen our family, my father. You have seen it happening from beside, and you go into a similar construct, and you're constantly miserable, and you don't like understand that you're reliving something that you already have seen from a side, and kind of you have made this decision that you don't want that as a child, but now you have ended up in this horror situation yourself. And it took her years, really, like 6 years, from the point when she started to realize that she cannot, you know, it will not get better, to really get out. And
so the
and
person
really, like,
must decide that he or she does not want this. But
yes.
if his or her friend says that, don't you see
Yes.
this problem, it doesn't
Yes.
work.
Yes.
You
And
can...
Yes. But also what happened, it's a nice story. I constantly told her, like, I don't think this is something for you. It will not work out. You always kind of bring up each other's like bad sides, and you can't like solve conflicts, because it only escalates. And then we were on a party with her, and there was a clairvoyant person that she admired, and this clairvoyant which just like walked up to her and I told her like, here is my friend, please, she needs help, say something. And this clairvoyant woman, she said like, but you are the strong one in the relationship, like he's dependent on you, you are strong, you can leave. And that helped. Like this was the thing from this third person that kind of made her make this decision.
What do you think, who are the people who should come to listen your training? Who are the people who you can help?
Yes, I think everybody who has felt, maybe a little bit powerless or stuck in a situation or not happy with the way things are going, should listen, or I would like them to listen, because I think most often every sort of training is a way. It is a pathway, and you need steps on this way, and it takes time, and you shouldn't bring yourself down, with just like, I can never do it, or this will never happen, or tomorrow will be the same shit day as today is. But it isn't about tomorrow. It is maybe about the 5 years, the 10 years, the rest of your lifetime, where you want to take this other path. And you need to give yourself time. You need to reconsider, rethink, re-listen, relive your own desires, like what you really want to do, until it like sets in. Because also I've also worked as a coach for several years, and then people, when they come to the training, they're like, I want to be skinny tomorrow. Like, if I'm not skinny by tomorrow, this all sucks. Like, I'm not gonna do it. But you need to like embrace a lot of time for the change. And
question is also about the motivation.
Yes.
If I see that something is going better, then I have the motivation. If I don't, well, I don't have the motivation.
But you will see it like in a year or two. And this is why people quit, because they think like there's all this fake advertising. Like it took me, like this morning I saw like pictures like 4 weeks and you're like this today and this tomorrow, and it will not happen. Please, like stop doing this kind of things. Everybody will be sad. Even if you like stop eating altogether, maybe you will die, maybe you will survive, but you will not be that skinny after 4 weeks. Like the metabolism has its rates, its calories, count them, like make the calculation. It's not possible. Don't pressure yourself with something that's impossible. And also somebody like who has maybe had this past trauma. And often people, like in our culture, I think it's not customary to talk about pain. It's much more, this way that suck it up, be silent, hide it, go on. And people then carry these, balls of trauma within them, and there are layers and layers and layers. But if you communicate them or talk with them, you always find that this is still impacting their choices. And until they have like unwrapped it, like really sorted through it, made their own mind up, it will always impact their decisions in a bad way. It's dragging you down. So if there are people who think, how could I overcome this really bad thing that happened to me, that I didn't choose, that I wasn't, guilty of, maybe you were even guilty of it, but I don't want it to drag me down on those moments where I'm vulnerable, then for them, I think also maybe I have a way out of there.
Well, thank you, Birk. It was quite serious, but still interesting conversation with you. And everybody who wishes to learn more about how to own your life are welcome to participate our training. More information is available on Kleesman.com website. Thank you, Birk. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.
Thank you for listening. Bye.
You were listening. Happy, healthy, successful Kleesman. You can find more information on our website, Kleesman.com.